ProfilerLive helps you implement a structured process for managing the people side of change with the same rigor that you manage the technical change, utilizing the ADKAR methodology and delivering real dynamic measurement of the health of your project throughout its life, and therefore mitigating the people risk every step of the way. So this is a 5-step process. Step 1 is about establishing the baseline of capability and understanding at the interface with existing systems and processes that will be in the go-forward environment. Step 2 is to use the data that's been generated from that analysis to customize role-specific user training programs. Step 3 is to assess the user's understanding of the things that they need to know to do their job properly. And then either to accredit those users or to provide them with a personalized and bespoke training needs analysis with links up to learning before they get reassessed. Then after go live, it's about, in step 4, we're about gathering user feedback on the training, on the system, or on the processes, and any concerns or suggestions that they may have. And then the final very, very important step is to leave a very positive project legacy, because we've got a solution there that ensures that job movers or new starters or people who've just been promoted really fully understand their role and what's expected of them. So the ADKAR approach delivers the measurement and certainty and the dashboard through which to seize control of the people side of change, delivering the same kind of structured process that you're all well used to for the technical side of the project management. So, so that's the full process. But let's now look at the case study. So our client, as mentioned, is one of the world's top general insurance and reinsurance companies, and they have operations in all the key insurance markets and globally employ 17,000 people. And ensuring staff are accredited and compliant is really a very important thing for them, and it's vital to them being able to mitigate any financial or judicial risk that they've got. So last year, the company faced the challenge of really significant changes to business systems and processes, including the rollout of a new document management system, or DMS, to 8 offices located across the UK. And the success of the DMS implementation really depended on the effective change management processes that would ensure that the UK employees were trained in the full functionality of the new system and also believed in its value. So it was a multi-level, it was a complex project, and it was a highly challenging insurance environment that did pose pretty significant risk across the user community and impacted the organisation and individuals' readiness for go live. So, you know, it's an important thing to get right. We were brought into the project just as the project was about to go live. And this was because the project team were concerned, and as it turns out, they were right to be concerned, that users simply didn't understand how to operate the new system. And if they were correct, then there would be very significant implications for the organization's capability to carry out its basic day-to-day functions. So our brief from the project team was firstly to verify their concerns through a survey of staff, to see how staff felt about their own readiness for go live, their understanding of the system, and how they rated the training. And then secondly, to run a hard assessment to test users' knowledge of both system basics and to check users' understanding in real-world scenarios around how to respond to different situations that they were confronted with in their roles. And when they got the results back from the survey, their concerns were really heightened. The results were simply too good. So let's take a look at the results. Firstly, from the survey. So what we can see here is survey reporting, which was automatically delivered through Profiler. And the system basically analysed the responses, and fundamentally 96% of staff were happy with the system and the training program and its delivery. And the L&D team were able to use this dashboard to review results at multiple levels, at aggregate levels, and ability to drill actually right down to individual responses and to individual questions. So when we're looking here at the opinion around DMS, the trainers and the training, the users were very clearly comfortable with the system. And indeed, they loved the training. I say 96% satisfaction. So the project team became very nervous at this point because they felt the staff actually didn't have the skills that they were claiming to have. So the next step was, in fact, to build and roll out an assessment on basic DMS functionality. And the way we did this was with one of our trainers and 2 subject matter experts from the project team. And they spent just a morning building a question bank and an assessment, which was then rolled out across the user community. So these are the results. So, when we look at the case study, following just, fantastic survey results, users took this assessment 1 week later, and the results were far from great, with an average score of just 64%. And the implication out of that was way deeper, because when you start to look at the results at a detailed level, 90% of people didn't know how to save the document correctly. Let's look now at how ProfilerLive was able to give the project team and the executives involved in the project real data-driven insight into the health of where they were at. So here we can see data at its highest level of aggregation and reporting, and we see the overall extent of the issue, which is what the execs and the project team were looking at. So we've got an infographic here, which is showing that whilst the average score was 64%, when we translate that into real users, 84% of the users were not ready for go live, and that was, as I say, after training. So this gave the leadership teams the data to enable them to make decisions based on fact and analysis rather than kind of feedback and gut feel. There's a lot of high-level information here with quite a lot of point-and-click simplicity to go and identify the issues. So we just kind of take one snap here and look at one particular area. So this is in the leads branch, looking at the underwriting team. And we can see that the underwriters in leads, there's not a single one of them who's actually ready for go live. One guy's kind of close, but the rest are not. And that was by far away not the worst example. In fact, in Edinburgh, absolutely everybody was at risk. So the extent of the issue had been established, and the project team were then able to go much deeper into the analysis and understand way more. So here we've got a really powerful dashboard that really allowed the L&D team to get into the detail. We'd set up just 2 basic levels of categorization, and they were job role and branch location. And so they were able to slice and dice the report against those criteria. And from that dashboard, the project managers were able to really see how widespread the issues were. But we could give them more. So we then took it down to the next level of detail, and this tier of analysis enabled the project team to look at the assessment results and diagnose what competencies were actually most problematic. And the competencies identified here are managing files and saving files and searching files in DMS. And so the 84% of users had a training need or were not ready for go live, but within the overall results there were clearly individual strengths and development needs that were different. So the second person down there, Celia, was scoring very strongly in saving, but actually had significant weakness in both managing and searching. And we can see how this report really allows the team to see those differentiated points. But actually, we can then drill down to the next level to see what was going on at question level to see the true extent and scope. And here I mentioned earlier about there was one particular issue with saving, and 90% of the user community basically didn't know how to save documents, something pretty fundamental. And we've got a breakout here of down at question level, ranked by answers wrong as to where everybody lived or was. But before we look at that question in more detail, first I'd like to show you a couple of questions and the way that they were presented to staff who are actually taking the assessment. So here's the first of those. The kind of basic structure here, this is a multiple choice question, and what we have is a context at the start. So you have used the checkout function in Wizard for editing, and you want to make sure your changes are saved back to DMS, so that's the context. We've then got a relevant screenshot from the system, and then the question itself, and then the alternate options for the user to select from. So that's a nice multiple choice question with a real world context to it. I'll show you now another of our question types, similar kind of format in the sense of there's a question and then the screenshot. This particular question type is asking people to click in the screenshot to effectively drop a pin there, as you see, on where they believe the answer actually lies. So there's a couple, we've got 4 or 5 different question types in the system, though we're just showing here a couple of those. This is the interactive and interactive or hotspot question type. So if we now move on to specifically the question that 90% of people got wrong, here it is as it appeared to the users. Same structure as we've looked at previously, a context, a question, and a screenshot. Use the mouse to demonstrate where you believe the correct answer to be. And I mentioned earlier about how important the data was and how ProfilerLive collected all of that data. Well, this is now what the project team got to see. So they got to see where everybody dropped their pin, so to speak. So we got 108 out of 120 responses were incorrect, and we could identify here with literally pixel level accuracy as to where the common areas of misunderstanding were, and as a result of that, build appropriate programs to ensure that people were trained in the right way to fix knowledge gaps. So this level of detail available across all of the question banks enabled the L&D team to go back with the right size learning interventions in order to fix the problems that existed. So what did our client get out of it? Well, in simple terms, the project team were able to fix the issue before it materialized into the re-problem, and the DMS solution is now working completely seamlessly within the business. They were able to do that and to deliver confidence to the exec team, visibility to the project management team, and the insights to go and fix the highly targeted in a very highly targeted and efficient manner for the L&D crew. So when we kind of think about summarizing what it is that we have seen today, basically after the project, we've been brought into other projects at earlier stages in the client, and we've just actually been invited to be involved with the program in their claims department and their claims management system. But I really hope that the review of the case study has given you some food for thought as to how ADCAR can be applied beyond just the technical side of projects. And really the point for me out of this is showing the power of data and how data can reduce the risk of failure of projects due to a lack of adoption and utilization of the new capability by the people directly impacted by it to the executives who commission them. So provide executives with the insight on the must-take actions to lead the project to success, and to enable the PMs to not only measure the health of the project throughout the life cycle, but also to implement a structured process for managing the people side of change, just in just the same way as you do the technical project management side. So ProfilerLive provided customized test and reported the status against the new way of working for every impacted individual. It was standardized, it was consistent, and it was objective, and it was a great way to mitigate the risk at go live of new and large system applications, effectively one person at a time. Now, I hope you found this high-level review really interesting, and if assurance of readiness for go live is important in the projects you are working on, then I hope we've given you some insight into how the power of data could really support you in your own project delivery.